Evening, Old Miss. Oh, man. Love you guys too. Oh, it's hard not to cry after watching that. I haven't seen that portion of him saying that video since that day happened. But Charlie, when he came onto campus, he loved to immerse himself in the culture of the campus that he was in. And so, from word on the street, you guys have a chant out there. I hear it's a good one. It's hotty toddy. I love it, but it's a tremendous honor and blessing to be on stage today, and this is what Turning Point USA is all about. This is what the future of our country is all about, and I want to thank you all also on a personal level for all of your prayers and all of your support, not only for our family, but for the Turning Point USA family, which includes all of you, especially those that are students, a part of the Turning Point USA chapter at Ole Miss. So I love you guys, truly. This whole, you guys have no idea how helpful it is to have all of you in my life, because you help me feel even more deeply connected to my husband. And I thank you for that. I thank all of you for that. And I say that also because you guys are the heartbeat of Turning Point USA. You're the heartbeat of this organization, and every time we were at an event, especially one that Charlie was speaking at, he would always ask beforehand, he would always ask Mikey or the team, he'd say, who in the audience is a Turning Point USA chapter leader or chapter member? And whenever there was a student there, he would stop everything before the event and he would sit down with them. He would ask you what your name is, what you're studying, what is the issues that are going on campus. He would take the time to make sure that you guys knew he was investing into you, into your chapter, into your school, because that was a pulse point for him. And being on campus right now for me is a spiritual reclaiming of territory. And let me explain that, because there is a lot of symbolism in today. It's Wednesday, 7 weeks. And the more that I am coming to grips with the permanency of this nightmare, the more that I'm starting to realize and witness that the enemy, he doesn't want you. He wants your territory. He wants your influence. And when our team asked my dear friend, Vice President J.D. Vance, to speak today, I really prayed on it, because obviously it's a very emotional day, but I could just hear Charlie in my heart. I could just hear him say, go reclaim that territory, babe. Go. The battle's already won. God's love conquers. And that's why I'm here today. I'm here because this moment, it can either be your breaking point or your wake-up call, essentially your turning point, if you will. And at this moment, every single one of us has a choice to make, whether we stand for freedom or we're just gonna fall for everything else. But I want to encourage you, especially the students here, find your voice. You are the courageous generation. That's what you are. All of you. Gen Z, you are the courageous generation. Hear me when I say that. My husband believed that to his core. That's why he went on campuses. That's why he was trying to reach you. You are the courageous generation. Own it. Make him proud. And students beyond Ole Miss, if you are pursuing a chapter on your campus, harness this amazing opportunity to advocate for something that you truly believe in. And express it in the most articulate way of what exactly you're advocating for. You're advocating for America, you're advocating for freedom of speech. Because our chapters on high school campuses, I love it. Charlie was so excited when he named the programs for high schools. He said, we're gonna name it Club America. Because he goes, who could hate that name? It's the perfect name, Club America, and he loved it. Who could be against it? And I want you to know that if you are trying to start a chapter, I'm with you, we're with you, Charlie's with you. You have an arsenal of Turning Point USA staff members that are with you. But I also, what I've been able to sit back and witness is the leaders that have stepped up to ensure that chapters can happen. For example, I don't know if you guys saw what happened earlier this week with Governor Ron DeSantis, which is amazing. I want to give him a massive shout out because he said, we're announcing a partnership with Turning Point USA. We want to make sure that all high schools in Florida, anybody in a high school that wants to start a Club America chapter will be able to do that. There will be no impediments to that, and certainly no discrimination. That's amazing. And then also, Governor Youngkin. I want to thank him as well. He donated generously to Turning Point USA to support new Turning Point USA chapters all over the Commonwealth of Virginia. How powerful is that? It's amazing. I'm so grateful. So when I heard that, I just looked up. I was like, all right, Charlie, 2 down, 48 to go. I see you. But Club America and Turning Point USA chapters, if you're wondering what those values are, it's life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and that's what our country was founded on. And when you succeed in establishing that chapter, I want to commend you because that experience will leave a mark on you that will influence every choice that you make for the rest of your life and generations to come. Earn your voice. Charlie loved the word earn. Earn your voice. This is about your legacy. Each one of you in this room, everyone watching, when you earn your voice and you stand up for what is right, that is a part of your legacy, your family's legacy, just as much as it is part of Charlie's legacy. Don't forget that. Don't ever forget that. Because if there's one thing I've learned, especially being with Charlie for the past 7 years, it's that the hope we're looking for is not found in Washington, it's not found in media. It's right here. All of you. This is the hope. And he saw that. He saw that. It's in stadiums like this. Charlie had a visual in his head. He loved the on-campus events, but for the night events, he would send Tyler pictures and the team pictures of, I want our chapter events to look like this. And he sent a picture of one of the largest college football stadiums in the country, packed. That was his vision. And that's what makes all of this so powerful, because your generation is living at a crossroads. And you are living in one of the most defining moments in American history. And we are all witnessing in real time the battle that is raging for the soul of your generation. Again, your generation. This is far more than political. You will hear the world and the culture, for that matter, pressure you and say, go with the flow, don't ruffle feathers, don't say that, you might offend someone, you might lose some friends if you wear a red hat, if you go to a Turning Point USA chapter event. But when I hear that, I need to be so blunt and honest with you now, because before when I heard it, I said, okay. Now when I hear that, if you're worried about losing a friend, you might. I lost my friend. I lost my best friend. And if you're nervous about standing up for the truth, the assassination of my husband puts into perspective all those fears. It really does. Because my husband never went with the flow. He swam in the streams of significance. And Charlie knew so deeply to his core that comfort doesn't change the world. And you cannot influence the world when you look like it. The enemy of truth doesn't need to destroy a nation overnight. He just needs to convince people that truth no longer matters. And the enemy thrives when Christians don't speak up, when citizens don't vote, when students don't think for themselves. But in Ephesians chapter 5, verse 11, it says, have nothing to do with the fruitless deeds of darkness, but rather expose them. That's what it means to live as salt and light. To bring flavor to a world gone bland, and clarity to a world that lost its way and it's lost in confusion, because Christians are called to go into the public space to correct error with truth, and that's what my husband did. When he would sit there with his microphone, I got to watch this evolve over the years. At first, he would hold the microphone the whole time. He would listen. Then as the years went on, he would put the microphone down, and he wasn't listening, he was hearing. He was absorbing what the students were saying and what they were asking. He was engaging. He was calm. He wasn't combative. He never insulted. He just wanted you to think. Again, like I said, he never told you what to say. He just wanted to challenge you so that what your convictions were, you actually understood why you had them, rather than they being talking points because your professor told you so or your friend told you so. He wanted the best of you because he demanded the best of himself. And Charlie would say this all the time: your rights don't come from the government, they come from God. And he knew what every founding father knew, and nearly almost every university has forgotten, that you cannot have freedom without virtue, and you cannot have virtue without God. And that's what makes this nation so different. That's what makes it worth defending as a courageous generation. And another thing that Charlie used to say all the time is that it does not take skill to be courageous. It takes a choice to be courageous. And now's the time to make that choice. Either you sit on the sidelines. I don't know what else can wake you up. I really don't know what else could stir that fire within you to get involved or to use your voice or to make a difference. If you're looking for another sign, I have no idea what to tell you. I just want to encourage you, though, that yes, this is about America, and Yes, my husband would say saving Western civilization. That's true on both fronts. But deeper than that, this is about your soul. Because the fight for freedom starts within, inside of each and every one of you. So again, please stand firm against the wickedness of the devil and the schemes of man. Be alert because his tactics are so clever. What he'll do is he will find one thing. He will find fear, he'll find disappointment, he will find one thing, and he will wedge it in between you and the Lord, and he will make it grow. He will make it grow so much that you lose sight. It becomes this, almost like an eclipse, where the truth is hidden behind it. And yes, the light's still there, but you can't see it anymore. That's the enemy's tactic. And the bottom line is that the enemy doesn't need to change your theology. He just needs to change your vision. And if he can get in your head and blur your vision and distort your vision, he'll do it. He'll do whatever he can. But what the enemy forgets, though, is that the presence of a shadow is proof that there is light. He forgets that. And Charlie's murder might seem like we're standing in a shadow, as if death was the victory meant for the enemy, but looking around in this arena, you are proof that this light of truth burns so brightly. So brightly. The Lord is calling you to rise. Please hear me when I say that courageously. He is. Do not be afraid. It is so easy to be afraid, but we are commanded to not be afraid. And when you take that stand, it will encourage and inspire someone else to do the same. Whether that is someone in your circle, whether that's a family member, whether that's someone you never even met before because they saw you posting something on social media. You can't change a nation if you're enslaved to fear. And you can't call out corruption if you're still chained to comfort. And you can't stand for truth if you first do not kneel before the Lord. And I know I keep saying it, but I'm trying to drive home a point with you all being labeled as the courageous generation, because this generation will decide if America remembers who she is or if she'll forget. And I believe with all my heart that God placed you here now in Ole Miss, not by accident, but by assignment. There is no mistake that you are here in this stadium and arena today. No mistake. God doesn't make mistakes. Doesn't make mistakes. And when being on this campus, I think of 18-year-old Charlie, who would always say, you know, when I started this, I had no money, no connections, and I had no idea what I was doing. But what he did know what he was doing was that he was obeying the Lord. He was obeying what the Lord had placed inside of his heart to fight for. He did. And he persevered. He persevered, and look what he left us. Look what he left us with. He didn't leave us empty-handed. He built a machine, and all of you are a part of that. Again, the heartbeat of Turning Point USA. That's what happens when you obey the Lord. A movement like this, it becomes unstoppable. It becomes the revival that it is. And I just want this to be the generation that says, we will not apologize for loving our country first. We will not be silent about our faith. We will not back down when the world tells us to kneel, because we bow only to the King of Kings. And it's from him that we rise. I personally still believe in America. I still believe in her founding. I still believe in her future. I don't care if people think it sounds crazy, but I still believe that our nation can heal. But we can't save a country that we're too afraid to defend. We can't. On a more personal note, when we first moved into our home, inside of our bedroom, I had on the side wall, when you walk in, it was above the bookshelves, it says, on two framed pieces of paper, it says, "They will be known by the boldness of their faith." And when I hung that, as many women can attest to this, when you hang things, you see them all the time, you just kind of go about your life. And so, being in the position that I am now, it took me a while to even just make it back into our bedroom. I used to sprint from the opening door into the bathroom and sprint out. I was not ready to walk into our bedroom yet. And when I was finally able to sleep in our bed for the first time, I slept on his side of the bed. And I noticed, because he had to sleep a certain way on his side, facing the outside of the bed, because he had a bad back. I'm sure most of you didn't know that, but he had a really bad back. Anyways, so it's also why he wore compression socks too. I know a lot of people are like, why do you wear compression socks? Circulation. Anyways, so he would sleep that direction, and so I found myself sleeping that direction as well. And when I woke up, for the past several nights that I've been able to be in there, I saw that the first thing I'd see is that on the wall, "They will be known by the boldness of their faith." And I thought to myself, he saw that every single morning he woke up. I didn't, because I'm on the other side of the bed, so I'm facing the window. But he saw that every single morning. And then I thought to myself, because when I go to the office, I will never sit in his office chair. So there's like a couch on the side when you walk in, and I sit on the couch. And on his desk, flanked between the Bible verse of Micah, chapter 6, verse 3, it all kind of came together for me. So he sees us on the wall, and then he sees on his desk these 3 questions that he would ask himself every single day. And it would be, what is something I can do for someone today? The second one was, what is something I can do to add value to the world today? And the third was, how can I honor God today? Those were the 3 questions combined with the words he saw every single morning. So to me, seeing on his desk, that was him suited up with the armor of the Lord every day. That was his combination. And what I'm realizing with that is those were the action points of how to have courage. Because you can ask me, well, how do I become courageous? Ask yourself those 3 questions every single day. And I promise you, you will get courage. You will. Because what death amplifies even more is that you only get one life. Just one. That's it. It's an eternal life. So that's why you have to live like it matters. But I want to remind you that God has created you for greatness, not for something that's lifeless, just greatness. And the question isn't how long you're going to live. It's what are you going to do with your life in the time that the Lord has blessed you with? What are you going to do with that? That's the question. And when you get to the end of your life, will the Lord be proud of what you stood for? Will you be able to say that you ran the race, that you fought the good fight? Or will you realize that you wasted your time that the Lord has blessed you with chasing after things that didn't even matter? Hold that into perspective. And remember, being the courageous generation that you are, stand up for the truth, defend life, love your family fearlessly, love your spouse fearlessly, love this country, defend her, and serve our God. And don't think that it's someone else's role to do it. You do it. You do it. Do it for Charlie. Do it for Charlie. And I am tremendously blessed and honored tonight to be able to introduce to you a very, very dear friend and his wife. They are incredible. And I see no one will ever replace my husband. No. But I do see some similarities of my husband in JD and Vice President JD Vance. I do. And that's why I'm so blessed to be able to introduce him tonight, because he understands the fight that we're up against, and he can articulate that in a way that transcends race, that transcends demographic backgrounds. He's an amazing man.